Transition to a seated position on the ground and grab your yoga block. And just a note, you could do this part sitting in a chair if for whatever reason sitting on the ground doesn't feel good. But then once you're set up, open your knees up to about 90 degrees or a little further. Place that block, place that block right between your thighs in that orientation. That's probably the one for you. You don't want to be too wide or too narrow, okay? And then make sure you really feel your shin bones are able to block that yoga block right in place. Yeah, so it feels active and stable. And then lift your forefeet off the ground. There are only two of them, but that's called the forefoot. Okay, and then from here, take a moment staring down those toes to try to bring the toes in line with the foot. So we don't have a separation of toe and foot, okay? And then from here, the actual motion to start here will be the motion of inversion, where the bottoms of your feet turn to face each other as much as they can. And hold it there long enough to feel the inside part of your ankle active and maybe finding a stretch on the outside aspect of the ankle. And then turn those bottoms of feet out to the sides as much as you can for ankle eversion, finding that complete stop. Now keep going at your own pace, going inversion and eversion. And note that one ankle might be able to go further in either of those directions than the other, and you really want to make sure you're taking both to their end range, okay? The other little thing to watch out for is if your shins are rolling out. If that's happening, then the block will actually be moving a little bit. So long as the block is still, then you're probably good to go on that one. Last 10 seconds, trying to wring out as much opening on the opening side as you can, and as much contraction on the closing side of the joint as you can. Good, and relax that for a moment, okay? Now we're gonna work on the motion of the ankle that's a little bit more reminiscent of running, which is gas pedal up and gas pedal down when you're doing that roll off the ground. For that, you'll stay in the same position, squeeze the block between the shin bones, and then again, keeping the toes right in line with the feet, start to go gas pedal up. So you're gonna dorsiflex the ankle and find how actively you can lift those feet without the toes going off on their own. Cool? And then from that end range, start to lower the forefoot towards the ground, really working to either get your pads of your feet to the floor. If that's possible, keep going by trying to lift your heels off the ground while keeping the block. That might be a crazy, crampy ask, okay? Now come back up to gas pedal up. Yes, Hannah's doing an awesome job of keeping those toes in line, but that might be the hardest part of this drill.
Yeah.
And then back down, pinning the forefoot and the toes to the ground, and then maybe trying to lift the heels as well. Good. And then a couple more here. Gas pedal up, finding a spicy contraction all the way into the shins. Yeah, great. And then back down, pushing the toes and forefoot into the ground and finding an equally spicy contraction in the back of the calves, in the back of the shins.
Yep.
All right. And melt it away.